Ladies and gentlemen, when you're disrespected, it stings, doesn't it? It cuts deep, not because it's unexpected, but because it's personal. It's a moment that forces you to confront an uncomfortable reality. You've been undervalued, misunderstood, or dismissed. But what if I told you that disrespect can be one of the most powerful closures you'll ever receive? Think about it. When someone disrespects you, they're not just showing you who they are, they're giving you a blueprint for who you don't need in your life. It's a raw, unfiltered moment of clarity. You see, closure doesn't always come neatly wrapped with an apology or mutual understanding. Sometimes closure arrives in the form of harsh words, unkind actions, or blatant disregard for your worth. This is where the shift happens. You can either let the disrespect consume you, keep you up at night, and erode your self-esteem, or you can let it ignite a fire within you, a fire that says, I deserve better. I will not let someone else's inability to see my value dictate how I see myself. It's not about retaliation or bitterness that's a path to nowhere. It's about understanding that disrespect is a signal, a clear, resounding alarm, that it's time to pivot. Time to reassess the relationships in your life. Time to set boundaries where there were none. And sometimes it's a reminder that you've outgrown the spaces you're in. Closure isn't about the other person, it's about you. It's about walking away, not with anger, but with conviction. Conviction that you've learned, that you've grown, and that you will channel this experience into building a stronger, more resilient version of yourself. Disrespect was the closure because it gave you the final piece of evidence you needed to move forward. It showed you the truth stripped of pleasantries or pretense. And while the truth can hurt, it also liberates. So take that moment of disrespect, thank it for the lesson, and use it as the foundation for your next chapter, a chapter where you stand taller, speak clearer, and live freer. Disrespect has a peculiar way of jolting us awake. It's not something we seek or enjoy, but when it comes, it often serves as a powerful catalyst for growth. At first, it feels like a blow to our sense of self, a moment that challenges our dignity and self-worth. But hidden within the sting is an opportunity, an invitation to examine not just the actions of others, but also our own beliefs, values, and boundaries. And when someone disrespects you, they inadvertently reveal a great deal about themselves and their limitations. But more importantly, they shine a spotlight on areas in your life where growth is needed. Their actions challenge you to ask hard questions. Why did this behavior affect me so deeply? Are there unresolved insecurities or fears that I need to address? What standards have I been tolerating that no longer align with who I want to be? It's in these questions that transformation begins. Disrespect forces you to confront the gap between how you see yourself and how you've been treated. It demands a reevaluation of your boundaries, pushing you to articulate what is acceptable in your life and what is not. And as you redefine these boundaries, you begin to reclaim your power. Moreover, disrespect often serves as a mirror, reflecting the areas where you need to grow stronger. It teaches resilience, fortitude, and the importance of self-respect. It's not about proving your worth to those who disregard it. It's about internalizing your worth so deeply that no external behavior can diminish it. By recognizing disrespect as a catalyst for growth, you transform a painful experience into a stepping stone. You rise from it not bitter or broken, but wiser and more resolute in your journey of self-discovery and personal development. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define what is acceptable and unacceptable in your life. When disrespect occurs, it often signals that those lines have either been crossed or not clearly drawn. This moment, though painful, can become a turning point, a chance to establish or reaffirm the boundaries that safeguard your mental and emotional well-being. Disrespect forces you to confront the need for boundaries. It's a wake-up call, an undeniable sign that something in the dynamic is out of alignment. Whether it's a friend, family member, colleague, or stranger, their disregard for your value highlights where you've allowed access without sufficient protection. This doesn't mean you are at fault for their behavior, but it does suggest an opportunity to regain control over your environment. Healthy boundaries are essential for closure, because they create a clear framework for what you will and won't tolerate. When you set a boundary, you're not just communicating limits to others, you're also affirming your own worth. You're saying, I value myself enough to demand respect and to step away from situations where it is lacking. This act of self-respect becomes a form of closure in itself, a decision to protect your peace and prioritize your well-being. The beauty of boundaries is that they simplify your relationships. They filter out those who cannot respect you while strengthening the connections with those who do. Disrespect may initially feel like a fracture, but it ultimately gives you the clarity needed to redraw your lines and heal on your own terms. Closure isn't always about resolution with the other person. Sometimes it's about creating space for yourself to move forward, free from the weight of unresolved conflict. Boundaries enable this by ensuring that disrespect, once identified, does not have the power to persist. Disrespect, though painful, can be a pivotal moment in life. It's an experience that shakes you to your core, forcing you to confront uncomfortable truths about the dynamics around you and often within yourself. Yet, it is precisely in this discomfort that a profound opportunity for transformation lies. When someone disrespects you, it's easy to dwell on the hurt, replay the moment in your mind, and seek explanations or even apologies. But the truth is, disrespect doesn't need to be the end of the story. It can be the beginning of a new chapter. It's a turning point, a moment that urges you to look beyond the actions of others and evaluate your own path. Why are you in a position where this treatment occurred? What does it reveal about your relationships, choices, or even your self-perception? This is not about blaming yourself, but about empowering yourself. Disrespect often highlights areas where you've compromised too much, ignored red flags, or accepted less than you deserve. It forces you to reevaluate your standards and make intentional choices about who and what you allow into your life. By embracing disrespect as a turning point, you reclaim your power. You shift your focus from what was done to you to what you can do with the experience. This shift is transformative because it moves you from victimhood to agency. Instead of remaining stuck in the pain, you channel it into setting stronger boundaries, pursuing personal growth, and surrounding yourself with people who uplift and respect you. This respect then becomes not just a moment of hurt, but a moment of clarity. It's the moment you decide to rise above, to move forward with greater wisdom and strength, and to ensure that your future is shaped by respect, starting with the respect you have for yourself. Pain is an unavoidable part of life, but it doesn't have to define you. When you experience pain, especially from disrespect or betrayal, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, defeated, or even powerless. Yet within that pain lies the potential for profound transformation. It's not the pain itself that holds the power, but what you choose to do with it. Transforming pain into strength begins with a shift in perspective. Instead of seeing pain as purely destructive, view it as a teacher. Pain has a way of exposing truths that comfort often obscures. It reveals the weaknesses in your boundaries, the gaps in your self-awareness, and the areas where growth is desperately needed. By confronting these truths, you can begin to rebuild yourself not as the same person, but as someone stronger and more resilient. This transformation requires intentionality. It's not enough to simply endure pain, you must process it. Acknowledge what happened, feel the emotions it brings, but don't let them consume you. Use the experience to clarify your values and redefine your priorities. What matters most to you? What will you no longer tolerate? Pain can sharpen your focus, guiding you toward a life that aligns more closely with your true self. Strength also comes from the lessons pain teaches. It teaches resilience, the ability to keep moving forward even when life feels heavy. It teaches empathy, as those who have suffered deeply often gain a greater capacity to understand and support others. And it teaches self-respect, as you learn to set boundaries and prioritize your well-being. In the end, transforming pain into strength is about choosing growth over bitterness. It's about rising from the ashes of hurt with a deeper sense of purpose and a renewed commitment to living a life that reflects your inherent worth. Pain, disrespect, and the challenges that come with them are not the end of your story. They are chapters that shape your journey. The way you choose to respond to these moments defines your future. Let every hurt, every slight, and every disappointment fuel your transformation, not your defeat. Understand this: strength isn't born from ease or comfort, it's forged in adversity. Each moment of pain is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more intentional about your life. Disrespect may try to diminish you, but it can only succeed if you let it. Turn every wound into wisdom, every setback into a stepping stone, and every moment of pain into a foundation for resilience. Choose to rise above, to honor your worth, and to move forward with unwavering clarity and strength. The greatest closure you'll ever find is not in the apologies you're waiting for, but in the peace you create for yourself when you decide to let go, grow, and thrive.